Hey guys, this is Valbjorn. I'm going to show you how to sculpt gemstones today. I'm going to be using green stuff mixed with milliput. It's 50-50 mix. It's going to allow the green stuff to dry rock hard like milliput does, and that's going to allow you to come back in and sand and shape things when it's cured to give nice hard clean edges. That's useful for the gemstones because you can use a hobby knife to come in and scrape the edges and really make it look sharp. So we are going to be using two tools today. One of them is an extra firm clay shaper from Royal Sovereign. The other one is a just cheap brand. I bought it at Michael's. But the important part is that it has a very sharp tip. It's pretty soft silicone, but we're looking for that real sharp tip. So I'm going to be sculpting on this guy today. He's one of my older guys, but I really like him. Love the wind-blown mohawk. So he needs some kind of wolf and stone on the back of his power pack. So here's my mix. I'm gonna grab a little ball, roll it to a ball, stick it on the back of his pack, and we'll be using our extra firm to seat it in place. And I'm not looking for finesse, I'm looking for adhesion to the plastic and just working it into position and getting a nice seal around the edge. It's going to look a lot more believable too if there's no gaps, and it'll stick a lot better. So I'm just slowly forming it into that diamond shape and making sure I'm pushing up against the plastic and then pushing it back up towards the shape, constantly rotating the model to work with the way that my body works, so I don't have to contort in a weird way in order to reach a spot or make a movement. It's all what I'm used to, and it'll be a lot more consistent and you'll fall into that flow better. And eventually it'll just be second nature and you'll always be moving it to work with the way that you work. And the way that the tool is shaped is also very important. So once I feel like I've got a good connection and a rough shape, I'm now going to use the flat edge of the chisel to start pushing the edges in to that gem shape. And one thing that becomes very apparent right now, especially with this shape and doing hard edge as opposed to organic, is when you push on green stuff, or any putty for that matter, you're going to make an impact and then cause a reaction somewhere else. And it's important to work with that and to figure out how to make that work for you. At this point, I'm just pushing the putty around and understanding that every time I make a movement, it's going to affect another spot. And it's just one of those things that you have to get used to, and that's what makes organic sculpting so kind of intuitive. You just kind of go for it and it just sort of works. Like with the hair flow and the beards and stuff, you just sort of pull and it just happens. With hard edge, it's just a different story, where you have to always keep the shape in mind. That's what's so useful about this particular mix of green stuff and milliput, is once it's cured, you can come back in and really refine those hard edges if you want to with different tools. Okay, so now that I've got my rough shape I'm going to switch to my sharp edged color shaper and slowly push the edges in. It's almost like a kite shape. I'm just very slowly, very lightly pushing the putty in place. You can do this when it's freshly mixed, and it'll certainly stick to the model a hell of a lot better. But I recommend working with it after it's set for about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so now that I've got the outside defined, I'm going to start putting in the bezel lines. And I'm going to come from the top and use the chisel tip to start marking the edges of the bezel. And all I'm doing is just pushing lines. It's so simple. Just push very lightly and use that hard edge to define your line. No rush. Just find the flow. Now that I've got some bezel going, I'll start to push back because I've caused other reactions when I push that down. I'm just trying to get it all to work with itself. Slowly forming that outside edge. Come back and rework some bezel spots. Can even come back and reshape the diamond. You can just do whatever you want. There's no order. Turning it, working in the round, making sure it looks good from all angles. Always turning. It may look a little skewed through the camera. I have my phone rigged to go through my magnifying glass. I use a 2.25 magnification to pretty much work on everything. I've kind of just gotten used to it. And I've noticed when I record things through it, sometimes it makes it look a little fisheye, but hopefully it'll be okay. But yeah, this is pretty much it, you guys. You form it in shape with your firm one and then use your sharp one to really define the edges. And you can keep working it. And you can even, once you get happy with the shape, you can let it cure overnight for 24 hours and then come back in with an X-Acto knife and really sharpen the edges up. Almost got like a double line in this bezel, but we can work that out. Reform the edge. Come back on top again. There's definitely a golden window to work with green stuff with particular jobs that you're trying to do, so you'll find it. I like to start at about 20-30 minutes, and then I feel like it's workable up to an hour, depending on your humidity and how cold it is and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I'll let this cure and then come back in with an X-Acto knife and really sharpen it up, but that's the gist of it, you guys. Follow me on Instagram at Valbjorn. Like and subscribe me here on YouTube, and leave a comment if you want to chime in. I like hearing all the stuff you guys have to say and your suggestions. So thanks for watching. Have a good night. Peace.